Hi guys, Togo here with a new video. And this video, I was thinking about retail. And yes, I have made multiple videos to say that I'm currently playing Classic. I'm currently enjoying way more Classic than retail for multiple reasons. And I don't want to cite them again and again and again. I think the best way for me to talk about retail is to suggest what would make me come back to the game more, or at least faster, or at least I would be sticking around a bit longer than what I did right now in the War Within. I would say that the gameplay itself is not bad at all. Like, I think if you are like just separating the gameplay from the systems and from the queue times and from the world, I think the gameplay is really a top 3 expansion for me. You have hero talents, hero specs, you have everything going on to make your gameplay more unique, which is always going to be a good thing. The talent trees came back pretty much in Dragonflight, and the War Within it just became better. But that's just simply not enough. I personally think a MMORPG is not only about gameplay, because to be frank, there is a lot of games where gameplay is really better than World of Warcraft or different or also good. So you have to choose between games that work very well and games where you have only good gameplay right now, which is World of Warcraft. So if you want to spend time and that time is allocated to other games, then obviously you're not playing to retail. And why do I prefer Classic? I already decided multiple times, but I think it's a better MMORPG. Maybe the gameplay is just not better, that's for sure. But even if it's that simplistic, it still does very well the things that it's supposed to do well. So I think if I can show you in a written manner what they need to do for me to come back to the game. Again, I'm not like the only one. I'm not like the only player in the world, and obviously what I say is not like gospel. But obviously, I think a lot of people are in the same way on why they're not playing the game. So I would say first and foremost, they kind of need to fix the MMR. The MMR is not good. And that's okay. Again, if you have a competitive game, you need MMR. But the issue is the system around Soul Shuffle is already not well made. The truth is, healers are versus healers, which is not good. So it means that they will always have a uphill battle to get better MMR because you're only facing one player, right? If you're facing only one player, you can only steal MMR and CR from one player. While DPSers, they have, if you're a DPS, you're facing 3 other players, and obviously there is like one weak link, which are probably going to be the CR and MMR that you're going to steal and divided by the other players. If you are crushing the lobby, you have a 6-0, you're stealing literally the MMR from 3 players, which just shoots you up to another dimension pretty much. And that makes for long queues. The issue is that Soul Shuffle should not be 6 rounds. It should only be 1 round. So it should be a 3v3 with 1 round where you have, no, not really 1 round actually. It could just do 3v3, no shuffle, and you just have healer versus plus 2 DPS. If you still keep the healer thing, you have to do this, in my opinion, versus healer versus plus 2 DPS, and you have a BO3, pretty much. That is how you would fix the queue times first and foremost. You would fix the frustration of, oh no, we have a weak link, this healer sucks, or this DPS sucks, or whatever. They cannot really do that because they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. They will have to try harder to at least get a win to diminish the CR loss or the MMR loss, and you cannot draw. So it means that you cannot draw. At least one team will have 2 wins. It's either 2 wins with 1 loss or 2 wins with 0 loss, and if you have 0 losses, you will get more MMR and CR from the other team. Okay? You're going to say, but it's going to be imbalanced if you have like a double rogue team and you have a healer. It kind of sucks. That's true, but you cannot have the perfect solution. It's either you have faster queue times with a bit of imbalances with the lobbies, Or you have long queue times where the lobbies are balanced and you have like a class of every, like for every role you have a different class, which really just makes up for longer queues. So the MMR is not good, and the solution is make it not a shuffle anymore, just a BO3, best of three, or even a best of five if you really want to have like even more games to come back. Why not? A best of five or best of three, and it's just same team versus same team, so you don't have like the idea of someone is shooting themselves in the foot because they don't like that guy. Like I don't like this healer, so I'm going to lose on purpose that one game that will make them draw the game. There also is no draw anymore, so at least one team will get MMR. There is not a team that is going to get like equal MMR, equal CR, and nothing goes. No, you're going to have one team that loses, one team that wins. And the healer are going to be facing in the same pool as a DPSer. So it means that there is no discrimination in MMR. If the MMR has an issue, it's for everyone, not only for healers. Not only for DPS as well, but like for everyone. So it means that healers and DPS, they have the same pool of MMR. So it means that in the top 100, you will see some healers again. Well, which right now it's not the case. Right now it's only DPSers. So that is one thing that will make me come back, having faster queues. So that would be the result of faster queues. Faster queues. Less frustration as well. It will be frustrating to have like bad teams if you're like an enhancement shaman and you're playing with, I don't know, what class don't I like to play with? Let's say a Retribution Paladin. So there's enhancement shaman, Retribution Paladin with a healer versus a Arms Warrior DK, for example. Yeah, that kind of sucks. That's true. It really sucks. But at the end of the day, I prefer to be able to play than to sit in a queue and think that I'm playing while I'm just AFKing, YouTubing, just waiting for the queue to pop. That really sucks. So that's one thing that they need to fix. Another thing that they need to fix is make open world PvP matter again. That's again a little pet peeve I have, but like it's really weird whenever I'm playing on Classic. It feels like open world PvP is not that different from retail, but what I want from retail is that they could do way more with what they have. Like they have such a great basis of a game that they could just like overshoot it and be better than every single expansion before. If you actually put a fortress where Horde versus Alliance, where I need to take this territorium or whatever, do like something like New World where you kind of like choose a side and there will be a balance with that side, so it means that you cannot overshoot it, so it will be a 55 to 45 balance, but ideally it's a 50-50. You choose a side and it's like a fortress battle, right? Like for example Guild Wars 2 world versus world is something that I really like, which I don't seem to find it on World of Warcraft, which is kind of crazy with how much faction was something important for World of Warcraft. Now it is less important in retail right now, and that is what it is. In the War Within, like your buddies with Horde pretty much, if you're Alliance. But what you could do is like a faction system where you can choose which, like for example, Scryers and Aldor, for example, from TBC, right? You just choose a faction, and with that faction you have reputation, you have gear that you could have, for example, and bragging rights, and maybe cosmetics, whatever. And if you are like having a territorium, you're going to fight around it, and you cannot switch all the time. You can only switch one time per month, and you can only switch if the balance is right, for example. Okay, so new factions, not like, again, not like something you can choose in champs. Like you choose in capital the faction, it will have 50-50 balancing, else you can't switch nor choose that faction. And 50-50 balancing means that it's 55-45 pretty much. And what you have is like fortresses, camps, world versus world, Guild Wars 2 vibes, kind of. And the rewards are cosmetics, gear, like open world PvP gear that matters, with cool toys, for example, or cool effects, something like that. You could really do something cool with the assets that they already have. You could literally build a fortress on a open world PvP map. Like again, they are focusing on making like zones for leveling, zones for high end, for example, like Undermine or whatever, But what they could do is actually make like an open world map. This is really just a PvP zone, point on the line. Like for example, like in Cataclysm or Winter Spring in Wrath, for example, you have zones where it's just purely open world PvP, and you can do your dailies there, but you are flagged PvP, so you will be war mode automatically if you're going there. So it means that there is an open war zone warfare, and it will be again a bit of imbalance because there will not be a 50-50 balancing, but it will be as close at 50-50 because it will be locked. So it means that you cannot switch whatever you want. You will have objectives to do, you will have crazy battles to do, the community will be back again, the social aspect will be back again, and it doesn't affect too much. You could do that for next expansion probably in Midnight, as because it will be in Keltalas or whatever zone it was for Blood Elves. You can do that there. That would be like, that would not be a problem, and you would have some sick open world PvP. You will get new crowd as well because some people just love open world PvP, so they're going on Guild Wars 2, or they're going on, I don't know what game that offers that. For example, I don't know, Black Desert Online or New World or Ashes of Creation, for example. They will do that as well. You could do that as well as World of Warcraft, and you cannot tell me you don't have the resources from it because you already have assets that you can reuse it pretty much. You can use assets from Ashran, you can use assets from Tol Barad, you can use assets from Winter Spring, you can use so many things, and you don't need to put like vehicles, only like maybe catapults or something like that for the doors and for the fortresses, and the boss should be a raid boss, literally, like it's a raid boss, and you get buffs for the players. So that's an idea what you could do, which would automatically just kill queue times. Like if you want to do PvP, just go to that zone. Like you can queue for Soul Shuffle while you're doing that, but you can go to that zone and get your objectives, get that PvP thrill you can do, instead of waiting for a war PvP quest to pop up, and you will all know it will be just a Zerg with no objectives except killing themselves. That really, really sucks. Okay, so I would like that they are going to add something that matters for PvP, and that would be world PvP, for example. What I would also want, and that's for PvE, because again, I'm also thinking for PvE, for PvP, Mythic Plus queues, solo queues. That's something they should do. If you want me to actually do Mythic Plus, you should do solo queues somehow, some way. I think the LFG is worse, strictly worse. I'm going to say worse than 3v3, 2v2. Like really, if you are a PvPer and you're trying Mythic Plus for the first time ever, if you're trying your luck without any friends and you're doing LFG, it really feels even worse than 3v3. And back in the day, 3v3, we all wanted solo queue because we didn't really like the aspect of you have to find friends out of thin air, which is very hard because everyone is like meta oriented. I feel like PvE is even worse. So put Mythic Plus queues, like solo queues. I think there is no reason for it not to happen. So a new key system, I don't know, key system that if you're doing a key, I don't know, it's very difficult because obviously you get a key from completing it, so you can go up and up. I think it's quite difficult to implement that in solo queue, but I think it should happen. I think, and it should be limited, maybe your eye level. So if, for example, you cannot do a +8 if you have like 600 eye level, for example, no matter how good you are. So you are going to be limited on your eye level, for example. But I think that could be like interesting to implement. So that's one thing. I think leveling kind of sucks, but it's really hard to go back to that, because I think everyone is like high level anyways. Like I have all my characters level 80 anyway, so there is no leveling for me there. But I think they should maybe make PvP leveling matter again. So it means that you should maybe get. It would be probably be abused, but I would like to have open world PvP matter again by also giving XP while you're doing that. Maybe that could be interesting, but I think that would be a bit abused. What else would they need to do for me to come back to the game? But the truth is, I'm not gonna lie, all of this doesn't matter as long as the queues are still too long. they don't need to fix anything gameplay wise. Like they could again fix frost decays, enhancement shamans, elemental shamans, healers, whatever. The queue times are still too long, and that's the only thing that really makes me not play the game. If the queue times were popping 1 minute queues, I would be still playing retail. That's the truth, because it would mean that I'm actually too busy to play to complain. But right now, I'm actually not busy enough, so I can complain. You see the thing? Like, it's like if you're busy and you're doing stuff and you are like constantly trying to improve, constantly you see that you have less problems, so you have no MMR problems. It is making sense. You have reputation to grind, you have grinds to do. I think all those things are going to make you stay on the game even if you are like not happy about that game, right? That's something that is a bit controversial to say, but I think grinds and reputations and things that makes people play the game even if they don't like it is kind of good for the game, because it actually keeps the players on the game. So you could actually like reiterate, make it better, right? Make it too easy to everyone makes just a good excuse to stop the game like directly, because you have your fun, you are fully geared, there is nothing for you to chase anymore. Why bother play? Instead of just having fun, you could have fun on another game. And I think fun is very subjective, because I think fun itself is not enough to keep players onto the game. In League of Legends, it can be fun, but I can guarantee a lot of people are not having fun while playing, because they're frustrating because of their elo, frustrating because of their matchups, frustrating because of their teams, but they still keep on playing it. Why? Because they have bragging rights. They want to go in on a higher elo, they want to reach higher heights, they want to follow the paths of their content creators, of the streamers, of their role models, or their friends. If their friend is like diamond and you are like platinum, you're going to make sure to get to diamond, for example, to be able to play with that guy. So I think in general you kind of need something like that. I think also, and that's something very controversial to say, in 2v2 and 3v3, if there is a MMR or CR gap with their friends, you should not be able to queue. And I think that's a very, very, very hard thing to say, because there is no solo queue. So obviously, if you don't have friends and your friends are online, but there is a gap, you're not going to be able to play. That's really bad, right? But what they could do is really easily make a solo queue for 3v3. I already said like a solo queue, like a shuffle, which is not shuffling, but like a BO3 or BO5. You could change that system to a BO3 or BO5 as well. You could actually do a 3v3 BO5 BO3 instead of like having to face only one team and then be done and then having another queue time. You could like have a solo queue with it, implement it. You only face other solo queue players. If you have a full team, you're going to face other full teams, and that will be like a bit more fair. But I think before anyone is like fighting me on this is like just a suggestion out of thin air. Like I don't think they're going to be able to do that anyways. I think it's not like League of Legends, like you have an infinite pool of players to be able to queue with, so you can be a bit more harsh on the duo queue or like a team queue thing. And it's also different in League of Legends. You have a 5v5 flex queue, for example, but you also have solo duo. So obviously a solo duo you can be a bit more harsh because you're playing regardless with people that are not in your friend list. So I understand that, but I think they could just do a bit better. I think the communication should be better. I think in general the patches should be fast. I think the seasons are way too long. I think 6 month seasons should not be a thing anymore. I think it should be a 3 month season. I think they should take a page out of Valorant. I think Valorant does it well. They have like seasons that are like tied to battle passes. You could do the same for World of Warcraft, pretty much like PvP. Especially if PvP, the gearing like doesn't matter, because that's really truly what we're saying, right? Gearing doesn't matter because it's getting too fast to get geared, and at one point that gear just gets used for a half of a year, pretty much the same gear that you have worn since the beginning of the season. So what they could do is just like faster seasons where you have faster rewards, cosmetic rewards, and still have the same gear, I would say, available. Also, I think PvP tier sets should come back. I think they should like get rid of those PvE tier sets, because I think they cannot just balance it right. Although they can like give a bit more like a fun towards the effects, I think it just is too hard for them to balance it in the right way for PvP. So they should just create PvP tier sets again. So I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. I think people are going to be mad because I'm giving some suggestions on a game that I'm not currently playing right now. The truth is, the reason why I'm not playing is not because I'm not liking the gameplay. It's not because I don't like the game. I really like the game. I just cannot play. I don't want to play healer again. I played healer too much. I played most of my games as a healer while I'm not a healer main. That is just not real. That's not real. That's not correct. It's like if you're doing football, which is soccer for you guys in the NA. If you're doing football, because I'm not going to say soccer. If you're doing football and you are number 9, you want to play striker and you are obliged to play keeper because you don't find any groups, it really doesn't work like this. People are going to stand into the goal for just a few games because they want to play, but at one point they're going to say, hey mate, I want to play striker. I don't want to play keeper, I want to play striker. I want to play DPS. I don't want to play healer, I want to play DPS. No matter how fast the Qs are for healer, I like healing whenever I feel like I want to heal. Not because of the game wanting me to heal to have Qs. No, that's stupid. I think most people are not like realizing how stupid that reasoning is to force people to heal to get faster Qs. It's in what world do you want to force someone out of their ideal role, out of the game that they love to play? You're going to make them despise the game that they play. Like, on Classic, I can heal without any problems because nobody forces me to heal. If I want to heal, I'm going to heal a BG, no problem. But nobody's going to tell me that I'm going to have a faster or a longer queue because I'm not playing healer. I'm playing Shadow Priest if I want to, I'm playing Disc Priest if I want to. If I want to. Not because, oh, if you want to have a fast queue, you need to be healing. Bro, I healed 80% of my games. This season, by the way. I got duelist thanks to healing because I could not queue as a DPS. I cannot queue as a DPS because the queue times are way too long. I'm a father of 2 children. I have a work, I have a wife. I don't have time to wait for 30 minutes to get into a game. I'm sorry. And that's being milled. Sometimes I got like even 1 hour queues, which is mind-blowing. I don't even know why I sat out those queues and then I decided to just stop. That was the one moment where I decided, look, maybe this is not made for me. And then people are saying that they have no time and that's why they don't play Classic. Mate, I think if you want to climb as a DPS, you should have infinite time pretty much. Infinite. Because you're going to sit more queues than everyone combined waiting for a raid in Classic. So I don't know. You choose. So that's why I say people are saying like play healer. They are just wrong. You can play healer to have fast queues, but that's not the solution because you're going to make people not like the game anymore. It's like a striker, like it's like telling Messi, if you want to get a faster game, go play keeper. They're going to do one games or 2 games like this, and then they're going to say, look, hey, that's not my role, man. That's not my role. Well, why do you force me to put keeper to be able to play the game? No, that's gonna be. Anyways. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.